Hello Year 11, it's Miss Bailey here. Hopefully you have already seen on the Padlet that your starter for today is a Microsoft Forms quiz. So your teacher will have sent you the link for this. So if you haven't already completed this, do pause the video and then return. So in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at exploring Le Chatelier's principle. So Le Chatelier's principle states that a disturbance in the system causes the equilibrium to shift to oppose the change. So this comes from the idea that altering conditions changes the relative amount of reactants and products at equilibrium. So any shifts to the system will cause the equilibrium to shift to oppose that change. So I'd just like you to pause the video whilst you write down that definition. So I want us to consider now what changes could we make to the system which could disturb the system. So what conditions of our reactions could we change that our equilibrium would then want to shift to oppose? So your next activity is to use the card sort that's attached on the Padlet and consider how each of the changes that are stated underneath the reaction will affect the position of the equilibrium. So reminding ourselves of Le Chatelier's principle, whatever changes we make, the equilibrium is going to shift to oppose that change. So I was always taught to think of the equilibria shifting being like a toddler. So if you tell a toddler to do something, the toddler will do the opposite to what you say. So it's a bit of reverse psychology, thinking about what conditions we would need to do in order for our equilibrium to shift to oppose that condition and favour what we want. So with this card sort, there is a reaction. Pay attention to the endo and exothermic, as that will be important for temperature. With pressure, you want to be considering the number of particles on either side of the reaction. So the number of particles that is formed in a reaction, that determines what you'll want to be looking at the number of molecules on either side of the reaction. Because when we have something with more molecules, there are going to be more collisions between the particles in the container, and therefore they're going to exert a high pressure. With something producing fewer molecules, they are therefore going to have fewer collisions with each other and the container, and therefore have a lower pressure. With addition and removal of substances, think about how the equilibrium could shift to replace or remove such substances. So just have a think about those using the card sort. Try and predict what the equilibrium is going to shift to do. And then once you have done that, if you can join your class teacher on Teams, where you'll be able to discuss the card sort with each other and your class teacher. Thank you all for watching and see you next time.